In machines that have a top-loading drop-in bobbin, the bobbin is housed by this bobbin casing, which sits right in here underneath the throat plate. Sometimes this bobbin casing can become dislodged and create lots of problems. So the needle slides down past this cutout area of the bobbin casing, and if this casing becomes dislodged, the needle can strike the plastic part of the casing and everything will grind to a halt. You might have a loud noise, error messages, you might even break a needle, and it can be very upsetting, but I'll tell you how to fix it and how to hopefully prevent this from happening again. So if this does become dislodged and your needle strikes it, you'll have to back your needle off in order to take your throat plate off and take a look under the throat plate. So you'll have to back your needle off by turning the hand wheel away from you, and it's kind of hard for a sewer because we are always turning the hand wheel toward us. The machines aren't really built for turning it away, but in this case, you have to turn that hand wheel away to get the needle to move upward and off of this bobbin casing so you can work under there. So back that needle off. It's always a good idea to turn your machine off if you're going to be doing anything under the throat plate. So once you take your throat plate off, the bobbin casing sits just right in here. And if it has become dislodged, it'll be really loose and just sitting right there, so you can just pull that out. And if the needle hit your bobbin casing so hard that if you have a crack in the plastic, that you might just need to get a replacement part. If you have a little hole in the bobbin casing and if the plastic is gouged, you might be able to smooth that plastic down. But if you have plastic sticking up, it can interfere with the stitch. So try and smooth that out if you can. And while you have your throat plate off of your machine, it's always a good idea to then clean under the throat plate and under the bobbin casing. When that comes out, you'll see probably a lot of lint down here, and that is actually something that can contribute to this problem. If you have excessive built up lint, dust, little thread clips under here, it can interfere with things. So make sure that's all cleaned out under the bobbin casing and in all of the areas of your machine. Use the little brush that comes with your machine to brush everything out and get it nice and clean.
Hey, sorry for the interruption, but Emily here, and I want to tell you about a super cool offer that I have for you from Craftsy. If you don't know what Craftsy is, it is an online community with resource of millions of creative and like-minded makers where members can find endless inspiration, advance the skills you already have, or discover a new favorite hobby or craft that you've always wanted to try. Craftsy offers more than 2,000 exciting classes in over 20 popular categories, everything from sewing and crochet to baking and painting. The classes are broken down into easy to follow lessons and are led by friendly, award-winning instructors like me who share creativity, wisdom, and provide step-by-step tutorials. I loved Ashley Huff's sewing class on how to sew super cute skirts. I'm not much of a garment sewer myself, but she had so many approachable tips and tricks on how to make this pattern so easy with her instruction. And I also loved Brenda KB Anderson's crochet class on how to crochet rainbow home decor because, let's be honest, who doesn't love a giant rainbow pillow? She also had some amazing tips on how to turn your work when making curves in crochet. I got so inspired by Heather Thomas's class on creative finishing and edging for her quilt, and she reminded me just how awesome and fun it can be to embellish the finished edges of your quilt. She also taught me a new method for how to make the corners of my quilts even more precise. And a huge thank you to Craftsy for sponsoring today's video. The cool thing is though, as a Craftsy member, you will also have access to live stream tutorials where experts answer questions, share tips, and engage with the Craftsy community in real time, which I absolutely love. So the first 1,000 people to click on the link in the video description will get a full year of premium membership for Craftsy for only $1.49. So click the link below and let's get creative together.
And then to drop this casing back in, some machines will have alignment marks, like a little arrow on the bobbin casing and an arrow somewhere on this part of the machine to tell you where to align. But if it doesn't, no worries. The cutout area of this bobbin casing goes toward the back, And then we have screws up here that sit toward the front. So we can drop this back in. And the main thing you want to look for is this little plastic knob right here sits against this metal bar in the front. So you want that to sit right up next to that metal bar. So we can drop that in, and it'll sit right in this little groove, and there'll be some play to it, and that is fine. That's what we want. And you can test out to make sure it's in the right place by turning your hand wheel toward you. And this metal piece is going to spin around the bobbin casing. We don't want the bobbin casing to move at all. So that's how you know that that bobbin casing is back in the correct position. Now, another thing that might cause this to happen is when your bobbin gets low. So if your bobbin gets to be a quarter or less filled and you're sewing really fast, that bobbin can kind of rattle around in your bobbin casing and start jostling it and cause that to become dislodged. So when your bobbin gets low, you can either just take the rest of that thread off and refill it to full, or you can slow down your speed, and that can help. Also, when you are changing out your bobbin, when you go to pull your bobbin out to change the threads, you want to be gentle. You don't want to be pulling that really briskly out. That can cause things to shift and dislodge as well. So if this happens to you where your bobbin casing gets dislodged and your needle hits it and everything shuts down and you can't, your needle can't go down anymore and the sewing stops, just stay calm and follow those steps that I've listed, and you can get back to sewing in no time.